TOPDON AD900. If under promised and over delivered was a scanner, this is it. The AD900 is a Bluetooth bi-directional 8-inch touchscreen. This thing has 10,000 milliamp hour battery. So you're talking 12 hours of runtime. But what that Bluetooth bi-directional means is you actually have a VCI port that plugs directly into your OBD2 port. Now you can walk around the vehicle for 33 feet doing your diagnostics in real time. With it being bi-directional, you can actually honk the horn, activate relays and wipers and motors and so forth. And between those two, that's going to cut down your repair and diagnostic time because you're not having to walk around the vehicle, except for you've got this in your hand doing that. So you can hang this over the top of the front door, the hood, you can set it up, prop it up on a shelf. But hey, we're looking at this same screen on a larger monitor, and that's with the HDMI port connection. So as you're doing your print reports and freeze frames and data reports and so forth, you can actually email those out to the shop. You can print them, you can scan them, you can even put them on a projector. That way you and the client can sit there real time and look at those reports and understand that diagnostic, which is going to cut down the confusion, which is one of the number one things that scanners have in the when it comes to miscommunication with that. So that clears that up quite a bit. But you're talking Bluetooth and bi-directional. So this has 2 years free on the updates on that. And after the second year, you're looking at $120 on the year when you decide to update. So if you decide not to update, hey, you keep your same OBD2 functions on this. But check this out. You've actually got a USB-C port on it, so that way you can use as far as infrared and cameras and so forth. But you got a screenshot button here on it. You've got the charging, a USB-A, a landline, so you can print. Hey, you're talking 3.5 millimeter phone jack, your power button, as well as a TF card here. So you got 128 gigs of external drive that you can actually connect to, and that way it's going to help you to cut down on saving so much info here on the unit itself. But this right here is a solid setup. So you're talking about over 100 different brands, which is over 10,000 makes and models. So when you start looking at the vehicles, we're talking the big three like GM, Ford, Dodge, add the Acura, BMW, Eagle, Hyundai, Geo, the Hummer, Isuzu, Infiniti, Nissan, Mazda, Lexus, Lincoln, Pontiac, Ram, Saturn, Scion, Suzuki. The list just goes on, Land Rover, Mercedes. But then you start adding more functions such as the resets and the warning light library. So this right here, you're looking at 8 hot resets on it. So that's going to be things like your oil, throttle, tire pressure monitoring, steering, brake, battery, your injector coding, DPF resets, ABS bleed. Hey, this right here is pretty solid. But then you start looking at the individual warning light library. So we're talking anti-lock brakes, airbags, your braking system, engine coolant, steering stability, tire pressure monitoring, transmission, DPF resets and regens, power limitation. Hey, this thing is just loaded with different options. So you take it a step farther and you start looking at, now we've got the internet option. We can go online and do some researching in addition to what the software and firmware has built into it. But then you start toggling between screens. So again, everything that you see on here, the client can see right there with you if you're in that setting. But at the same time, you can be in a clear mode here and you can actually do a quick snip or a screenshot just by press of a button here, saves that to your file, and you can go back and watch that later. So if you got a graph or a freeze frame or report and you want that client to see it immediately, bam, right there you are. So you start adding all those different functions into it. Hey, this thing right here is one sweet setup. So you start moving over, you got your camera, sound recording, screen recording, your clock, your timer, emails. Hey, you can add the apps. This thing right here is solid. So the AD900 Lite has an 8-inch touchscreen on it. So we're talking a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, much larger than the 500 and the 600s. And we're talking Android 11.0. So this right here is one solid setup with a 2 gig, 32 gig of ROM on it. So when it comes down to it, they've got a flash sale going on right now on the AD900 Lite just for a couple days. But this being 2025 with the 2024 software, hey, this right here is what's up right here. So again, whatever you see, you can point that out to the client. But this right here is pretty versatile when it comes to, doing your own maintenance, but at the same time, being able to share that with client base as well. So when it comes down to it, it has a support built into it. your settings, your files. It has a lot of info built in. So then you start looking at ways that you can connect to your internet, your Bluetooth, different. It's even got a flashlight, I'm saying. So that's going to help you with, getting those tight spots to be able to do that bi-directional Bluetooth, diagnostics and so forth. So at the end of the day, this right here is one solid unit. And another thing, you start talking about user, hey, you can even do the shop info, so you can plug in the shop that you're sending it to, or just communicate back and forth clearly on that. But your system updates, firmware, customer feedback, it's got all kind of things loaded into it, in addition to the audio and the video. But this thing right here is sweet. So that HDMI, hey, you're talking VCI, plug it in, Bluetooth bi-directional unit here with the little hanger. That way you can set it up and prop it up. This right here is a scanner for the books here. So the TOPDON AD900 is on a flash sale right now currently, but that's going to change from time to time. But this is one solid unit. So when you get the package here, the 900 will include the scanner, a nice carrying case, the adapters for different, Euro and so forth. You got the USB-C charging port on it. You've got the VCI as well as the adapter for your OBD2 port. You've even got the user's manual and a quick startup with that, but you get everything that you need to go ahead and start right away. And many times what you would pay for the price of this right here, 1 or 2 different diagnostics fees at the shop would pay for it, I'm saying. But check the link down below, guys. You will not be disappointed. But the AD900 is one solid unit here, and I've been pretty satisfied with it, and I've heard nothing but positive feedback on it. Check it out, guys. You will not be disappointed.